Okay, so I want to do a video on Divine Connection because I get Divine Connection constantly, and I just had it again today. So I wanted to do a video. I'm gonna stand for one moment just so you guys can see my church. Wait, right, that steeple in the far back, the narrower one. That's my church. So I left the house this morning, and every single time it's a different time, but when you surrender to Jesus, your schedule is his schedule, and Divine Connection, he sets up that time for everything. So you really want to submit and surrender your schedule, because that's also how Divine Connection happens, right? I can't get comfortable. I don't really know where I want to sit. So, this morning I had just left the house, and there's outdoor diner place, and there's all these outdoor seats on the street, and they're always completely full. So I was gonna have my walker today, so I wouldn't have been walking past there, but my walker got delayed by one day, and again, it's always God's timing and God's way. So because my walker got delayed one day, I had to go to Greg's this morning and pick up his walker for my walk. So I passed a table that's outside, and it was 3 gentlemen, and they said, "Good morning." And I said, "Good morning." And I walked away like, oh, that was so nice, and it made me feel very special, because most people sitting and eating breakfast ignore people walking by. So I figured it's because I have a walker and I don't look of walker age, that they were being polite. But so I was like, that was so nice of them just to be polite to me, because I had my walker, and I was in a bad mood, and it just felt really good, right? So I was thankful to the Lord that they said good morning. And it's really those little things that make your day so special. So I went about my whole walk and everything, and then I ran into Aaron, and I had been thinking about Aaron, and I got to see him and Paco and have a beautiful walk with them. And then because I ran into Aaron, he walked me to Greg's, and we stopped when we got here to have a cigarette. So we sat outside on these benches, and all of a sudden a gentleman walks by, and it's like a secluded out back parking lot. There's nothing back here for anyone, nothing like that. And a man walks by, and I see a Bible verse on his shirt. I'm gonna post that. And I said, "Excuse me, can I take a picture of the back of your shirt?" And he said, "Yes." So I said, "I'm an evangelist." And he says, I said, "Good morning to you this morning. I was at that table." And I said, oh, hello. He said, "One of the gentlemen I was sitting with, his name is Ron, and you walked by." And he said, "That is Ashley. She has a neurological condition, and sometimes she can walk, sometimes she can't." And I was like, oh, but I'm uncertain, because I gotta put a face to the name. So I said, oh, well, thanks for saying good morning. So we started talking about the Lord for a while, and then all of a sudden I read the front of his shirt, and in a very little bit right here, it says something about food services or food something, like people that do stuff for giving food, like food drive or something. And I said, oh, like, do you do those? And he said, yeah, we're doing one on Saturday. And I said, where? And he told me where, and it's directly across the street from my house. And he said on exchange, I wasn't sure where. Greg just confirmed with me, and it's literally directly across the street from me. I could see it. And so he said we'll be there Saturday at 9, and he said what we do is we have an evangelist come, and he does a 7-minute like speaking before anyone takes their food, and then at the end of the line I pray with them. And he said, yeah, you could jump in and you could help with whatever you want. So I said, all right, I'll be there Saturday. So last night I was telling Adam that I feel like I lack purpose because I'm used to I've been working my entire life, tons of working since 19, and now I don't have a job, and Dante's older, so it's not tons of hands-on parenting like it is for like little kids. So I kept telling him last night, I just said I don't feel like I have purpose, and so it was really great for this to happen today, because now I could do something and feel like I have purpose, and I really wanted to do something with the Lord. So it's not just a regular food drive. The fact that they have speakers come, and eventually I'm going to ask them to speak too, but I'll be praying with people and just talking about Jesus, just being an evangelist that's serving food and getting to know the community. And hopefully that my friend who's homeless, hopefully he shows up there. If I see him before then, I'll tell him about it. And if I don't, hopefully he just knows. Maybe he just knows because it's in town and stuff. But I hope to see him there. And then he's getting his own place in 2 weeks. So I need to figure out a way that I could find out where that is and all. And he doesn't have a phone and stuff, so God will just arrange it, because I want to bless him when he moves in, to be able to give him anything that is possible to give him, because he's been homeless a while now, and he's a vet and a really good man. So it's cool, and I'm thankful. Oh, and then he told me that when he was walking, he had to wait 30 minutes for the bank to open, so he was just buying time, and the Lord told him, turn down that alley. And that's when I was there, and he said, yeah, the Lord wanted us to meet. And I said, yeah, I'm all about the divine connection, but it gets so much better. You guys know how my expression is like, don't angry fist Jesus, or don't angry fist the Lord, and I always say that angry fisting God thing. So he literally was like, oh, in the Revelation, and we were talking about all this stuff, and he was like, there's gonna be people shaking their fist to God, and I was like, what? And he literally did this. I was like, no, angry fisting the God, that's my expression. Like, so it's so cool, because I always say like angry fisting. You guys probably heard it in quite a few of my videos. But you know, it's true. You don't ever angry fist the Lord, and when you do, because you're in a lot of pain and you're suffering, then you just tell him sorry, because he knows your heart. But I try to avoid it. I still do it at moments, but you gotta not do that ever. And when you do, you just repent as fast as you can and turn from your ways, because it's manipulation if your behavior isn't changed. So manipulation is like when you intend something, or something like a promise without changed behavior is manipulation. I don't know the exact order to say that in, but yeah. So I'm super thankful to be part of that on Saturday, and meeting people in the community and learning more about needs and where people live and where they're at and with their walk in the Lord, and seeing if there's anything I could do for anyone. I'm gonna go because my talker isn't talking well today, and I'm having a lot of Tourette's today. So I'm not gonna ever put those publicly because now it's a trend on TikTok and stuff, and I don't want to exploit things in the disease that people consider trends. So I'm very careful of my timing to do videos that I could still communicate clearly and they don't get attention for trends. Well, alright guys, Adam's up. Bye.